It's live. Yay. Hello, all you replay viewers. I realize it's like super early. I just shared the link and hit go live. So no one's here. So I'm going to share this on Facebook really quickly on my main page. I realize it's like super early. I just shared the link and hit go live. Okay. So no one's okay. Oh, shit. I don't know if you can hear that. Oh my God. But I had the link pulled up on my computer and it was playing it live like for me. That was crazy. There's two of you here. Hello. Okay, before I dive into the update real fast, I am going to share this on Facebook. So if anyone else wants to join us, they can. And while you're waiting for me to actually start blabbing, if you want to comment in the chat box, let me know who you are, because it doesn't show me on here like it does like on Facebook Live and stuff. It doesn't show me who you are. But 1 second. Let me reshare this bad boy. Dunsky. Okay. And then let me pull this up for myself because I think that I'm still learning the YouTube live thing. I just did one the other night and it was so fun because of the chat box. Like I can actually talk with you guys. So let me pull that up for myself. Let's see. Where's the chat? There we go. Okay. It doesn't look like anyone said anything in the chat. So hi, Realties. Who's here? Okay. So you should see the chat box to the right of where you see my face. And I just commented in there. So if you see it, let me know you're here. 3 viewers? Holy smokes. So good. Okay, I'm trying to get the screen set up. It's like so much going on here. I don't remember how I did this the other day. I feel like there should be an easier way to do the chat in a live video, but I'm just gonna do my best here. Okay, well, there's 3 of you here. 4 of you. I'm gonna fix my hair for a hot second. Oh, Trina! Hello, Trina. Let me fix this wild mane. Hair be crazy, you guys. It's just too much. So it's gonna go up there. Trina, big family minimalist. Oh, Danny! Oh my gosh, you have a new name, big family minimalist. Or did I not know that? Is this the new thing you're doing? I'm so excited that you're here, Danny. I'm so excited. I love this. I love the whole live chat thing. So just real fast, here's why I'm doing this live this week, because real life, I normally record these on Sunday, but we were in Asheville this weekend for our anniversary, which was wonderful. And we got back yesterday and I didn't want to sit down and record yesterday. Like I just wanted to enjoy the day. Brittany, hello. Oh my gosh, I love seeing you guys here. Okay, Danny, you said the big family minimalist is kind of new, a kind of a reboot. I've seen you sharing on Facebook about your travels and stuff. Do you have a website for it, like that you're rebooting or the new thing? Because I want to check it out if so. All I've seen so far are just your like posts on Facebook. Yes. So anyway, so the reason I went live is I didn't record on Sunday and we got back yesterday and I was like, I'm not going to go upstairs and do any work today. I instead finished 2 books, which felt so good. And then I've been brainstorming all day today about monetizing and stuff like that. And I'll fill you guys in a little. And I decided I have been for the past 3 weeks, like since I've been doing the podcast full time, I have just been checking things off my to-do list because they needed to get done. But I think I was also doing it because I felt like I had to, because I felt some sense of accomplishment and some sense of worth and some sense of like progressing just by checking things off my to-do list. But the truth is, I really feel like I wasn't making the progress that I wanted to be making. And I read 2 books this weekend that really inspired me. And so I decided that today I wasn't even going to look at my to-do list. I haven't even looked at it, which is a little terrifying because I'm like, oh my hell, what if there was something on there I really needed to do today? Oh wow, like it didn't get done. I did not send out my weekly email today because I decided that spending time brainstorming and thinking about the future and what I really want this podcast to be was far more important, because it's so easy to just go through the motions of checking things off your to-do list and like feeling as though you're moving closer towards your goal when actually you're just doing shit for the sake of doing it. And like your goal has changed along the way, and really what you're wanting to do has changed, but you're so busy going towards like, point A that you're originally going towards that it's hard to stop and think, okay, really, what is this that I want? And make that pivot and like go all the way across, because it just feels a little crazy. So anyways, that's why I'm doing this live today, because I didn't want to take the time to sit down and record and edit. The editing is fairly time consuming. And I just want to come and talk to you guys and update you. Okay, Danny, let me read what you said. You'll shoot me a link later since we can't. Oh, you can. I didn't know you couldn't share links in live chat. Fun fact. Oh, you're excited to hear how I'm monetizing because that's your new focus. Okay, I'm really excited to find out more about this and how you're monetizing. So here is the update. I started doing the podcast full-time on May 1st. So it is May 30th. I'm looking at my calendar, by the way. I'm not texting while we're having a conversation. I just wanted to see, let's see, May 1, 2, 3, 4. That was 4 weeks ago yesterday. And when I say I started doing the podcast full-time, just to be really clear, I think most of you know this, but that does not mean I'm making money full-time from the podcast. It actually means I'm not making any money from the podcast. I'm just working on it full-time, which is a new thing. I've never done that before. Trina, the struggle to stay focused on one thing is real. Amen, sister. A freaking min. So here's where I'm going to fill you in, and I'm going to be totally honest with you up front. I am still figuring this out. I had a Skype call with someone earlier today, and she was asking me all these questions about monetizing the podcast and all these things, and I was like laughing because I'm like, yeah, I'm still asking myself those same questions. And I just want to be really honest with you. Like, I am, as Jess Lively says on her podcast, like writing this all in pencil because I am figuring it out. I have no clue what I'm doing. And I've realized over the past 4 weeks that what I'm doing is very, very, very different than any other podcaster out there that I've found. Because the majority of podcasters are using their podcast as a separate source of marketing for their business. So they're coaches or they're designers or branders or whatever. They do a variety of things. And the podcast for them is just another way to market their business. For me, that's not the case. For me, I don't have other products or services that I'm selling, and I don't want to. I want to create a company that's a media company. And on my Skype call this morning, the same girl said, oh, this is so interesting. I want to know more. What's a media company? And I'm like, I'm figuring that out too. Like, I've been asking myself that same question because I think it can be so many different things, and it can be what you want to make it. Danny, you said it's hard not to be in that group. Oh my gosh. Okay, you may have said that in what group? Please tell me, because I may have missed that. But I was telling her, for me, what that means is I don't want to just create coaching services on, I guess, like how to do a podcast, how to run a business. I don't want to sell products like that. I want to continue making media content that is inspiring and inspirational for female entrepreneurs. And I want to monetize that media. And so the only way for me to monetize, if I'm not selling stuff, is through advertisements, or what a lot of people call on podcasts sponsorships. Danny, you said using the podcast to market a main business and let the podcast be the business. Yes, amen. It's really hard not to be in that group. Honestly, because I think that's how podcasts started out. Like, it started out as a separate marketing stream for business. It's kind of like an Instagram or a Facebook or YouTube, whatever. It's like an additional way to market your business and share about what you're doing with people. It's hard to monetize being inspirational, right? Yeah. Well, and it's just, I'm monetizing media, which I guess, this is the same issues that people doing magazines would have, right? Or newspapers, like anything like that. Like, the only way to monetize media is through advertisements. And it's also really important for me that I don't just do it in a way that doesn't feel right. And I want to do things differently. I don't just want to work with these giant companies. I also think there's a huge gap in the podcast marketplace for small businesses. Like, there are some amazing audiences out there listening to podcasts that are primed to buy and do and all the stuff. But the only businesses that have access to that are huge companies, like the Squarespaces or the HelloFreshes, like those giant, much larger brands. And I know what it's like to be a small business owner and to want to get in front of those people. So I want to create those opportunities. Danny, you said that's your shift too, since you're dropping F&W. That's your shift. So monetizing through advertisements is what you're doing as well. And tell me, Danny, do people actually pay you and stuff to do the trips? Because I know you said you guys are going to be traveling in the RV, right? Like, are you getting paid to travel? This is like so fascinating. So here's my latest update on how I'm monetizing. I've had some amazing conversations with people and small business owners, all small business owners, who are interested in not monetizing, advertising on the podcast. And to be clear, an advertisement on a podcast is the same thing as a podcast sponsor. I'm not really sure why in the podcast world we call them sponsors, because if it was a radio show, you'd call them an advertiser. So I've just been calling them advertisers because that's what they are. You know, you're advertising your brand or your product or your service. But I've been really wanting to do it in a really cool way where through the advertisement, it doesn't just feel like an ad, but it's more like a conversation with that person and you're getting to know their brand and their story and the why behind the product or the service. Because like, don't we all just want to know that like before we ever buy something? But I've spent today brainstorming how I can do that differently. And by differently, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what that looks like yet. I think I may know. I did a lot of research and like brainstorming and just writing all day today. And then my brain finally felt like it was just going to like explode. So I went for a run, and on the run, I had an idea. And I think I'm going to go with that idea, but I don't know yet. And so I'm not going to share it yet because it's so rough and I just don't know. And, I need to think about it a little bit. Like I had this revelation like an hour ago, but right now I'm trying to figure out a really unique way to monetize the podcast. And if that means that it takes me a little bit longer, then I'm okay with that because I want to do it the right way. Danny, you said, yep, you're closing the apparel line. Travel isn't paid yet, just comped. We're trying to change that. So cool. But how amazing to get your travel comps, like, and to get to go and do these things. That's amazing. So excited for you. So where I'm at right now is how do I create space for advertisers on the podcast and continue and producing really great inspirational content for female entrepreneurs, but also create really amazing opportunities for these, for small business female entrepreneurs to advertise their brands and their products and their services through the podcast. And how can I do that in really affordable ways that still allows me to make money? That's where I'm at. So that's that update on monetization. Yeah. Hopefully next week I will have more of an update. I feel like a lot has changed in my mind just over the past 4 weeks. Like how I want to do this is completely changing. The other update is if you listen to today's podcast episode that just went live today, you heard me talking all about this. And if you didn't, you should go listen because it was one of those episodes where I sat down in real time and I shared exactly what was going on in my head and in my heart, which was like imposter syndrome gone crazy. I had my first call last week with not just a small business owner, not just a solopreneur. It was like a business. Like I actually had a conversation with someone in their marketing department, and it was such a wonderful conversation. Like it was so good, and I felt really good about the conversation. But at the end, I got off, and I felt like the biggest fake. I felt like a total effing fraud. Like just so silly. Like I hung up the phone and was like, who did you just think you were? Like to have this conversation and to talk about the podcast like a numbers game or like a business, like who are you to think that you can do that now? Like just because you said you're going to do this thing. That's what I was saying to myself. And it just felt weird because I haven't felt imposter syndrome in a really long time. And I don't know if you guys have felt that way, but when you take this thing that even if you're calling it a business or it's a passion project or whatever it is, and you start making it into a business, when you start having those businessy conversations, it just feels weird because it's new and it's different. And in today's podcast episode, I share all about that. Like 10 minutes after it happened, I sat down right here in front of the microphone and just like shared all about how I felt. So that was today's episode. So yeah, that's the other episode. That's the other update. I am a month in, and in total imposter syndrome is a permanent thing for me, Danny. Danny, I feel you. I have to be honest though, because I hadn't felt that kind of imposter syndrome in a really long time. But as I mentioned in today's episode, I believe it was because I wasn't pushing myself outside of my comfort zone. I wasn't giving myself the opportunity to feel those things that make you feel like an imposter and a fake and a fraud and all the things until last week. But I think that I should recap the past month. If when I was starting out 4 weeks ago, if I could have told you ideally where I would want to be today, a month later, I'm not there. Not even close. I didn't even begin to chip away at what I thought that I should have accomplished by this time to feel like I was successfully on my path to doing this thing, like for real. And that feels weird to say out loud because at the same time, I feel so good about where I'm at. Like it's not at all where I expected, but it feels like the right place to be. It's making me emotional. Because while I haven't completely changed directions, I started thinking about things in a very new way. And it feels really, really, really good. Like whereas a month ago I was like, I'm going to start out with small business sponsors and then I want to move to working with big people, like the big brands. And now I'm like, no, like actually that's not what I want to do. I want to keep working with small business owners and female entrepreneurs through the podcast and through advertisements. And that is what I want to do. And so while I am not at all where I would have wanted to be a month ago, I'm exactly where I should be. So cliche, but cliches are cliches for a reason, and it sounds cheesy, but it's because it's true. And yeah, I have a feeling that the next month is going to be really interesting because I do feel like at the end of next month, while I don't know how much I will have accomplished on a numbers scale or like a monetization scale, like how much money I've brought in, I think I'm going to be a lot closer to figuring out what this thing's going to look like for season 3. By the way, I've not announced this anywhere else, but there will be no new podcast episodes airing during the month of July. There will be a break the entire month of July before season 3 starts up in August. And I can't even put into words how excited I am about season 3. Like the ladies that are coming on, from people just starting out to just like a year into this to humongous, massive platforms. The lineup is just amazing. So season 3 is going to be good. Yeah. It feels weird. It feels weird to say out loud, like, yeah, I'm taking a break, from producing episodes during the month of July, right as I try to monetize this thing. But I had decided on that, like way back when I even decided to go full-time in with this. So I'm sticking with it. And I'm going to be spending the whole month working on like behind the scenes business stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's not behind the scenes, but you know what I mean? Figuring everything out and trying to monetize and stuff. So it's not going to have plenty of work to be doing. And I'll be editing all the episodes for season 3. It's so good. So good. Oh, Danny, I could not agree more. Breaks are good. Like you have to do them. And I think that you can feel so guilty about it, but there's nothing like coming back from a break rejuvenated to like really live out what you're supposed to be doing. Like it feels so good. So there you go. There's the update. I am brainstorming new ways to monetize the podcast through just working with small business female entrepreneurs. I had a freak out imposter syndrome moment last week after having my first like businessy professional conversation about the podcast. And I shared all about it in today's podcast episode. And I went live this week because I decided that my brain was a bit full and I spent the day brainstorming instead of checking things off my to-do list, and decided instead of editing an episode that I'd come talk to you guys live, which is so fun because I got to talk to you in the chat box. Like, we should do this every flipping week. This is way more fun than just sitting here and talking into a camera. Brittany, breaks are so good and so needed, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. Me too! I had announced that, but anyways, you guys learn in the chat box. You can say a preview of the guest. So good. Okay, you guys, well, it's almost 4. So I'm going to go do some more brainstorming and stuff, and I will talk to you guys later. So good. Thank you for joining if you came, and if you're watching the replay, I love you. You guys mean the world to me. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.